My son came home with his 4th detention slip in 2 weeks, and the moment I read the reason, I knew something was wrong. Ben was 11, quiet, he'd never had a single mark on his record before this year. Now his new homeroom teacher, Mr. Dallow, seemed to find him guilty of something every single day. For Monday, detention for talking during silence, though 3 other kids were whispering louder. For Tuesday, detention for inappropriate laughter, though Ben swore he hadn't laughed at all. For Wednesday, he'd been aggressive during recess. My son doesn't know how to be aggressive, for he asks permission to sit in someone's chair. I called the school. The vice principal, I asked to see the pattern. She sent me a folder for 6 write-ups in 2 weeks, each one vague, each one impossible to disprove, each one where I started picking Ben up early just to watch the classroom door. Nothing happened those days. I had switched pickup with me twice that week for work reasons, and both times, Ben came out. I told myself it was coincidence. Then it happened a 3rd time. A 4th, where I started a note on my phone, who dropped off that morning, and whether Ben got written up by afternoon. Every day Mark brought him something. I showed Mark the pattern on a Sunday night, where he went very still, staring at the screen like it might change if he looked long enough. Then he said, Dallow, Peter Dallow. Mark closed his eyes. I told Mark he hadn't set foot in that building all year. We walked in together, and I watched his pen dropped out of his hand. You, he said, you brought him. Mark didn't for now. Mark's voice was low. 15 years ago, Peter and I taught at the same middle school, where there was a claim made against him. A parent said he'd handled a student roughly. Dallow's jaw tightened. You destroyed 9 years of my career over a raised voice and a hand on a shoulder. I couldn't get hired in this district again until this year. And now your son sits in my class. I felt something cold settle in my chest. So you've spent 2 weeks punishing an 11-year-old where he didn't need to. But here is the part I haven't told anyone outside this room. For when I asked Mark what exactly he'd seen that day 15 years ago, he wouldn't give me a straight answer, but it wasn't what they made it into either. I asked what he meant, for he looked at the floor and said the union rep had pushed him to describe it a certain way, that the store and that he'd let it happen because staying quiet felt safer than correcting the record once it was already moving. For the investigation lasted 2 weeks. 3 other parents came forward with concerns that Dallow was placed on leave pending review. All of Ben's write-ups were removed from his file. My son got his record back, but I keep thinking about a man who lost 9 years and a husband who let it grow because saying, actually, it wasn't that bad, for he goes to school without flinching. But some nights I look at Mark across the dinner table and wonder whether the man sitting across from me is the one who let a smaller truth turn into something that ruined a stranger, and then didn't correct it until it